Welcome back to Aus 7 Highlander, the third and final event of the Eternal Weekend held at Next Level Games Dandenong. I'm Sully. I'm joined by Lee Holland, aka Ugg.
Yo.
And also Stephen Mead, aka Thread the Last Troll.
Morning.
So we have two Melbourne regulars. We've got Brett Hughes on the left playing on a CBR MTG playmat. Brett Hughes is on Blue Red Delver. And on the right, playing on the TCM playmat, is Winston Cawood on TLFS plus GS, aka RUG. So that deck is an abbreviation. He likes to call the deck the last few standards plus good stuff. So he's essentially playing standard singleton and adding some extra cards to it, which is kind of spicy, and we all love a bit of brewing there.
Yes, and Winston's deck is a great example about how accessible Highlander is to even the newest of players. I mean, you look at it, and he runs cards from Amonkhet, he runs, Rashmi, he runs stuff from Khans and Dragons. You know, his deck is chock full of standard stuff, plus good stuff. Kerdave. What's really interesting, I find, is he runs Revoker in the main deck, which is something that we probably won't see a lot of people do. But it does make a little bit of sense. It's a 2-1, it can shut down a problem in play.
On this side, we've got the Blue Red Delver list. It's got some pretty sweet cards in it from all ages. You've got the Cryptic Serpent from the newer sets.
Again, another Amonkhet card. Yep.
So Cryptic Serpent reads, it costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. It's a 5 and 2 blue. So with the right combination of spells, it could end up being a 2 cost. And
yes.
It's also a 6/5.
Yes, it's a big body.
That looks like a Jackal Pup.
Is that what that is?
I think that's a Jackal Pup.
You are right.
Jackal Pup. That's a card that I haven't seen in a long time.
I haven't seen that artwork in ages.
Wow.
And Winston obviously didn't understand it either. But Winston starts off with a Ponder. We know the card. It's a brilliant card. See, draws for his turn.
So Jackal Pup reads, whenever Jackal Pup is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to you. Which is kind of cool because it's a 1-drop 2-1.
Yep. That's
So that's the
quite
downside
good.
of it.
Let's see what follow-up play Brett has now.
Yes. Seems to be tanking a little bit on what to play. He plays a Delver.
That's a good play.
It is. How many instants and sorceries does Brett run? How good is? Oh, there's a Harsh Mentor. Look at Amonkhet
Ooh, that's nice.
again.
So
Fell with the Delver trigger. So we're looking at about 10,
well, let's look at his list. So he's got
17
nine,
plus 9.
9 draw spells, 7 counter
Counters,
spells,
7
burn,
3 utility.
3 utility spells.
And there is a burn spell to get rid of Winston's Harsh Mentor there.
Yeah.
Looks like a
Magma Spray?
Pillar of Flame. Pillar of Flame because of the exile, the Harsh Mentor.
Yep, that.
Pillar of Flame reads 2 damage to a target creature. If it would die, exile it instead.
That's Magma Spray. It reads.
Oh, I might be thinking the
as
wrong
well.
one. I think Magma Spray is the same card.
So Brett finds and shocks in a land.
Into a Satyr Fire Drinker.
Yes.
Or a Fire Drinker Satyr, sorry.
Winston has a lot of things he can play to help stabilize himself now, but
Looks
whether
like
he
he's going
has
to
them
play
or
the
not.
Scoos.
Scoot seems like a reasonable play. It's a 2/2. Will grow very quickly into a 3/3. With the open green source there.
Oh, and that's a flip.
flipping with the spell snare.
But from what I can see, there's no creatures in either graveyards, so it won't be growing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's a life gain.
That'll be relevant.
Yep.
Still good. Can still eat cards to take him off things.
Yep.
100%.
So Winston himself runs a dig through time and a treasure cruise. So I don't think he'll be eating from his own graveyard anytime soon. Do we know if Brett is running? I presume he'd be running one or both of those as well.
I think so. Not from what I can see. Oh, he's running Treasure Cruise. Yes, he is. He's also running Ancestral Recall as for more of his points.
Yeah. So it looks like Winston blocked the Satyr Fire Drinker with his Scoos.
Which caused Brett to lose 2 life because of Satyr's ability, saying when it's dealt damage, it does that much damage back to you.
Yep.
So it's a double-edged sword, same as Jackal Pop. Attacking him for 5 there.
Winston takes off. I think I saw a Torrential Gearhulk in Winston's hand there.
This is not looking good for Winston.
Not at all.
He's not.
But that is a dragon in hand. Thunderbreak Regent doesn't look like he has a double red to be able to play it.
Yeah, which is pretty sad for him. I think he's pretty much dead on board, and that's a Grim Lavamancer, I believe.
It is. It's the Grim Lavamancer there.
Exile target instant or sorcery from graveyard.
So
He's exiled 2 cards.
Yeah. Exile 2 cards from graveyard to do 2 damage.
Correct.
So does Winston have anything here?
Probably.
Paying 5 and Sirach Dragon Claw.
Hey.
Dragon Punch.
So this is what Winston very much needed. However, Vapor Snag will return it to hand, and that will
dead.
be the end of Winston, I imagine.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's just do it 3 and then dead.
So moving to sideboard, Winston has in his sideboard Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast, Prowling Serpapard, a Back to Basics.
Love it.
Ooh, nice.
Back to basics in sideboard. Having a pointed card in sideboard is really hard to justify.
Yeah.
Depends on the
Spending a
quality of
lot.
the card as well.
Winston is kind enough to show us what he's past the Prowling Serpapard. That did look like...
Are you 2-1 as well?
Is that a masterpiece just under his thumb?
You just want to scoop
It does look a bit like an invocation, you're right.
I was saying if you want to scoop him
What is it? Oh, hang on.
Chain-
No, I think it's the full art game day Amicat
Glory
program.
Bringer.
It's the
Glory
It's
Glory
Glory
Bringer.
Bringer.
Yes.
So in Brett's sideboard, he's got Surgical Extraction, Submerge, Gut Shot, Magma Spray, Dismember, Fluster Storm, Spell Pierce, Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, Shattering Spree, Null Rod, Blood Moon, Maze of the Moon, Sulfuric Vortex, and Threads of Disloyalty.
Yes.
I feel like it is worth saying that Winston is also very new to Highlander.
Yep.
Wizfizz being Winston.
But so he probably doesn't have a lot of experience that a few other people do have. I've played a few games against him myself. That did not feel very good for his deck.
Where
At
Brett
all.
Hughes is pretty much one of the veterans in the Highlander community.
Yeah.
Yeah, most indeed. So we've got new blood on one side, and we've got the old experienced on the other. Having said that, Brett's deck was just quicker than Winston's.
Present for later.
Just 1-drop 2-1s.
Yeah.
Always relevant.
So as I said, my Highlander deck, I like to think is very quick, and Winston's deck is a good matchup against that. So I do think that this is not unwinnable for Winston.
No, it's not. It's very much not. So what are the pointed cards that we've got in each of their decks?
Alright, so,
So-
for Brett, we've got 4 points for Ancestral Recall. We've got 1 point for Treasure Cruise, 1 point for True Name Nemesis, and 1 point for Snapcaster Mage.
So we've already mentioned with Winston that he has both Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise.
Yep.
He runs a Jitte, a Force of Will, and a True Name Nemesis as well, with that back to basics in the sideboard. So, as identified, very odd to have a pointed card in the sideboard,
Yeah.
but it's probably there for a reason. I imagine he did bring it in for this game.
Yeah, 100%. It would be. Oh, I don't know if it's good in this matchup because blue, red, Delver. You just assume they're playing a lot of basics, which, if you look at Brett's list, he is playing Blood Moon in his sideboard,
No one's using
and a Mangus of the Moon, which is really cool. In his sideboard, so he's playing a lot of basics. He's playing 5 islands and 1 mountain.
Winston is also playing 11 basics in his
Looks
deck
like a
as well.
Delver Secret.
Yes.
That is
Always a strong start.
first turn Delver. Love that
First
card.
turn Delver
I
against the
do.
Delver deck feels good.
It looks like we've got a. I think that's a Rakdos Cackler.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
Which he has bloodlusted, which means it's coming to play with a 1/1 counter on it. It's now a 3/2, but it can't block.
I think that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah,
I would happily have a 3/2 on turn 1.
yeah. Well, Brett's deck is so low to the ground. Winston's Delver does not hit the flip, so Brett does have a huge advantage. Hopefully, Winston will shore up his Delver flipping next turn with this Ponder,
So
though.
it looks like he's putting 2 instants of sorceries underneath the land, knowing that
Yeah,
he's going to be
so
drawing
it's a
that land.
mountain, ponder, and dig through time
Yep.
with those 3 cards.
So he draws into the mountain, which he then plays for turn.
And it's
China.
just
Monastery Sphere.
So, what does the Monastery Swiss Sphere read, guys?
It's got prowess and it's got haste.
Prowess and haste.
So it's a
1/2
1/2
card.
for 1 mana.
Yep.
I wasn't gonna. Oh no! As soon as I said, you know, I'm like,
So
what?
prowess
Oh,
reading,
no.
whenever you cast a non-creature spell,
Down to,
put it gets +1/+1 until the end of turn.
Cool.
So it's going to be a pretty good beatdown.
Sure. Can that guy block?
And
That looks like a Falconwrath Noble.
Yeah.
I believe that
Each
is.
vampire has. Yeah.
I think that gives
Trigger.
all Brett's Vampire's Madness from memory.
Yes,
I know, right?
yes.
Most of the
I don't think that's the point of it, though. I think it is there because it is a 1-drop 2/1. So this turn, Winston's Delver does flip, which we were assured it does. He's played the Preordain, which is prowessing his Swift Spear. Also gives him some good information on the top of his library.
It looks like he scried both to the top. He's happy to keep both of those, playing the mountain that he scried.
Yep.
And attacking in for 5 damage.
Yep. So this has turned into a bit of a race.
Sorry, 14.
I do believe Winston's on 17
Yours.
because he took the damage from the Rakdos Cackler last turn.
Oh, he did
Yep.
too.
So it's a race that Winston will win if he keeps up this
This speed.
tempo.
No blocks.
So there is
An attack for 5 back.
Yep. Winston goes to 12.
Sure.
Brett finds his young pyromancer. So it's interesting the similarities and differences between his decks because Winston also runs young pyromancer as well.
Excellent. Well, it is the best of few standards.
There is an electrolyze. That's
I think
3 mana,
I think he's going straight after the Cackler, isn't he? Ooh, and then we've got
and
Daze.
that's a daze. That's a big daze there. However, the prowess trigger still happens on the Swift Spear, turning it into a 2/3. Brett gets the 1/1. The odds have shifted into Brett's favour at the moment, I'd say.
There's still a price trigger, yeah? Yeah. Question is, how bad can this get? Cool, that works. Does it?
just doing a bit of a score track. Looks like they're both on 14 all.
Yeah, Winston goes sideways with both.
Yep.
Brett's happy to take it and go to 9. His fire back will put Winston down to 5, I believe.
Yeah.
6, actually. There's 8
It was
damage on the
additional
board
3.
there.
Correct.
Yep.
But that being said, though, Brett does have quite a number of burn spells that could help out.
Yes, indeed. We know Brett has the island in hand from the days.
The Mark Pooley Beta Island, I think it is. It looks very much black bordered in Beta.
It does indeed.
He's got 2 of them there.
Winston, I think, has got a little bit stuck on 3 mana. He has no green sources. This will be very unfortunate for him if his hand is full of green stuff. It's never fun getting colour screwed in a game of Magic, but it is Magic, these things do happen.
Of
Yeah.
course.
100%. Variance is a thing, but you try and build your deck around that so that you don't get stuck with variance as much as some people can be.
Now that is an unsummon in Winston's hand, I believe.
Take 7. Go down to 7.
So Winston takes the damage.
7.
Yep. Goes into his turn.
Well, there's an island for him.
Now, if Winston has a lightning bolt, he actually has lethal on board, but there is a counter spell in Brett's hand. So Winston has instead decided to hold up both his creatures for block.
And that looks like a Thrun the Last Troll in Winston's hand. And a Thrun Dynamo.
That's gas.
And yes, it is quite possibly Thrun, because he does run Thrun in his deck. Very painful, because Thrun would be amazing at the moment.
Oh, it would be a powerhouse right now.
Yeah, so I think Winston's hoping that Unsummon will catch something unprepared.
Yeah. Would he target the young Pyromancer?
He'll probably end up targeting the Rakdos Cackler.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Brett won't attack with the young Pyromancer. So I think Winston will be looking at stopping those attacks coming through, and I do agree that the Rakdos Cackler is probably the best
So if
option.
Yeah.
Will that be enough for Brett to throw his counterspell at that though?
I thought most likely, because if you look at it before the unsummon, Brett will most likely attack with Rakdos Cackler, the Falcon Earth Gorger, and the
Ooh,
Oh,
he's gone
wasn't
for
it-
the young Pyromancer
Pyromancer.
before Brett has. I think Brett is moving to attack step at the moment.
So
Yeah,
that's the
that-
unsummon, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was mistaking that for a Thrun Dynamo, that art.
Right.
It looks very similar. And I think the best thing about that unsummon is it also gives prowess.
It
Yes,
sure
it
does.
does.
It's very relevant.
So it
So-
does turn his Swift Spear into a 2/3 at the moment.
And he's got the full art World Gorger, the Gorger Dragon from the new Amonkhet.
The
Glory
Glory
Bringer.
Glory Bringer. Sorry, that's the one.
Yep. And Brett lets that slide. And passes turn. So maybe that was in Brett's end step. Brett
Yeah.
didn't want to attack and lose his guys, even though I think Brett could have traded comfortably a piece or two. There is a green source for Winston, once he fetches, of course. But I do believe Thrun is double green to cast.
That is
Yeah, it
correct.
is.
Double green and 2.
Was he going to grab that tiger that he just went past?
We could move for a tropical island, maybe.
Maybe a trap. Yeah, you're 100% correct there, needing more blue sources than red.
Interesting. What would, if Winston goes to cast the Throne of the Last Troll, what would he leave up? Would he leave up an island or leave up a mountain?
Oh, mountain for sure. To represent burn spells.
That is a good question, though. So Winston taps out to play the Glorybringer.
He actually doesn't have double green at the moment.
No.
I thought that's a volcanic
Yeah,
island.
volcanic island over there. So yeah, he doesn't have double green.
So Glorybringer
Ooh, it's
has
mana
been
league.
mana leaked. Glorybringer would have been quite devastating against Brett there, because when it attacks, you can exert it to deal 4 damage to a creature. So it meant that none of Brett's creatures would have been safe.
Yeah.
Yes, it would only be able to do that every second turn, but
It's
that's
essentially a board wipe with this board state.
yeah, it's a lot of damage that would come through there. So Winston's still sitting tight on 6 life to Brett's 9. This game is quite close. Unless Brett can really capitalise on it, Winston does stand a very good chance of stabilising here.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, we do know Brett does have the counterspell in hand though.
Does Winston run Become Immense in his list?
Let me have a quick look.
I don't think he does.
I think the third delve spell is quite rough when you have both Dig Through Time and
That is true.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a gush as well.
Looking at his list, he doesn't really have much pump spells. His pump spells are on his draw spells essentially. So his cantrips help pump his monstrous Swift Spears.
Yep. So Brett has gushed. He's now playing back his Imagine Volcanic. Yep.
No point showing that you have double island in hand if you don't need to.
So Brett's decided that he's willing to trade both these guys.
How high do I get by now?
Which Winston does happily.
Yeah.
So Winston now still on 6 life, but facing 4 unanswered power on the other side.
Drawing another mountain there.
So he now has 6 mana available. He's going to dig through time.
We must actually add to this. Magic players are very finicky on the lands that they play, and if we look at Winston, it looks like he's gone to the draft deck land box and just grabbed random lands, which could be a reason. There could be very much a reason for this. Showing us the Thrun,
Yeah, the double
green.
Don't worry, we noticed that probably before you realised.
Yes.
Ooh.
There's a Storm Chaser Mage to finish the game off.
Hasten flying.
6 damage.
Sorry to see that, Winston. That sucks for the double green. But yeah, thank you guys for watching round 4 of 7 Point Highlander at Next Level Games, hosted by TCM. We'll see you next round in round 5.
Indeed, and I think Winston, you should change your name to Wins Not As Quite As Much.
Take care, guys.
Gotcha.